Tools required for installation: your basic drill, a ratchet, 17mm socket, an extension with a 10mm socket stuffed on the end, riveter, T40 Torx, be fold up, doesn't matter, and a ratchet strap. It does not have to be safety orange stolen from a Chinese engine crate. Any ratchet strap will work. Included the ProTector kit are 4 305 laser cut stainless steel reinforcement plates. On the clutch side you got the outer and the inner. On the chain case or QD side you've got the outer and the inner. 3/16 drill bit, 12 inches long, bag of rivets, and expert written instructions. Okay, first thing you want to do is get this thing up on the stand. If you don't have a stand, not a big deal, it's just easier on your back. This can be done on the ground. I'm going to pop our panel off. And pull the Torx bolt out from behind the panel right here to give it this lower balance access. See how nice and flexible that is? That's all you really need. We do include a rivet for a body panel rivet underneath there if you want to pull that out to make it a little bit more flexible. And the reason we're doing this is that we need to install the PTO side plates on this side. In order to do that, we have to pull that bolt out because that bolt goes through that hole to tie it in. So we'll take our safety orange ratchet strap and we're going to take this thing and wrap it, hook it here, wrap it up around the front torque arm, and then back on itself. Tighten it up. Once it's nice and tight, the bolt should come out fairly straight. This aids in putting it back together. Okay, we've got our safety orange strap on our torque arm right here. Just wrapped it up around itself. Brought it down the inside of the tunnel, underneath the running board. Make sure you go out and around the running board and then hook it back here. Now this being a 13 running board on here, you can hook it wherever you want in this area. Then I'm going to take our 17mm socket and pull the front torque arm bolt out. Once we get about 3/4 of the way out, I'm going to check it to make sure it's halfway straight. Now, it's kind of pointing down, which is normal. You want to reach under here and just kind of push down on the rail. You see it wiggle? And then the thing just kind of comes right out. We're going to take the clutch side or PTO side plate. This bolt's going to go through this hole. But first we got to slide it down. Right up against the tunnel through that opening. You follow me, camera guy? Now, I'm going to reach under here, push down on the rail again to line up the bolt hole into the torque arm. Doesn't take much. Get the bolt started. And then run it back in. And then right before it's completely tight, it's still kind of loose. I want to make sure that it's lined up. You got this clearance hole for the rivet, and it's up tight against the bearing housing, right there. Then I'll finish it off. Done. Okay, now with this tight and the plate up against the bearing cup, I'm going to drill this hot pilot hole first. Nice and slow and easy. Nice and straight as well. And when you're drilling this, again, slight pressure, you don't need to get crazy with it, just let it do its job. If you run at too high a speed, you're going to dull the bit prematurely. Then we come over here and pick up this hole right here. Just like that, and then the third pilot hole right here. Now it's probably a good idea as you go each hole to stuff a rivet in the hole you just drilled to kind of keep it lined up. But as you can see, I spaced it out doing that. It still is lined up just fine. Spoke too soon. So all my rivet holes are all nice and lined up. So now that's the end of that portion. Okay, now with our outer plate installed and our pilot holes drilled, I'm going to take the inner plate, slide it up inside the tunnel so we can rivet the 3 pilot holes that we already have drilled. Now the easiest way I've found to do this is this clearance hole right here is for that rivet right there. So what I'll do is I'll put my finger in that hole until I can feel the rivet. Then I'll rotate the plate up against the existing suspension plate inside the tunnel and watch through my pilot hole right here till I can see it. And there she blows. Once I can see through that pilot hole, I'll stuff my rivet in. Like that, pop that rivet the 2 existing, the 2 we already drilled, and we're good to go. After those are popped, then we can go through and drill and rivet the 2 remaining holes. Having those holes being non-pilot holes gives a nice clean edge to the hole and the rivet to bite on. That's it. Okay, now with that rivet installed, you want to take and clean these 2 up. That's just to ensure a nice bite on the rivet. Okay, we're done with this side. As you can see, after the pilot holes, the 3 pilot holes were riveted, we went ahead and popped in the last 2. Again, take it nice and slow and chew your way through there. Don't zing the drill bit or you'll smoke it and it'll be worthless because you still got the other side to do. So that's what it looks like when it's done. Again, take it easy with the drill bit, wear safety glasses, and don't hurt yourself. All that's left here is put it back together the way we took it apart, and we move over to the other side. Okay, on the mag side, it's just like the PTO side in regards to the side panel comes off, the Torx bolt comes out. You use the orange strap to retain the torque arm. You pull the bolt out, put the plate on, run the bolt back in. On this plate, you can see how it mates up real nice to the QD drive and or chain case right there. And we only have 1 pilot hole to drill, which we've already drilled, and it's right there. Once that's bad boy's drilled, then all you have to do is pull the 2 carriage bolts out of the chain case / QD drive right here, and then this one directly below it. And then the inner plate, we'll take those carriage bolts and stuff them through these square holes, and then line up our pilot hole with the 1 drilled right there. Run the bolts back down and tight. You can use a rivet as a guide, just loosely stuff it in there. Don't click it, just stuff it in as a guide when you tighten the 2 carriage bolts back down. Now with the plate installed, again there's a review, the suspension bolt in. We've got our inner plate installed with the 2 chain case bolts or QD bolts. They're tightened down. We stuffed that rivet in the hole as a guide, and when we tighten them down, tighten the inner plate down, and then popped it. Now what we're going to do is drill the remaining 3 holes. This one's kind of tough to see down here, cameraman. Well, in between the chain case bolts, you see that? We're going to drill those 3 out. Those are virgin holes through both plates and the tunnel, and then pop rivet them, and we'll be done. As a side note, this rivet hole, this hole down here by the chain case / QD drive, it'd be easier, I've found, to come from the inside of the tunnel and click it in that way. That's it. Okay, there she be, mag side installed. This rivet was popped from within inside the tunnel. All the other 3 are in. Chain case bolts are on / QD drive. And we're good to go. Put the sled back together and grip and rip.